Okay, today's daf is Yoma Chav Dalid, Yoma 24. The Gemara starts off in the middle of Chav Dalid Amid Aleph. The Gemara has a question. The Gemara says, Boy Rabbi Avin, about 8 lines down. Chumas Hadeshin Bekama. How much do you have to take off when you do Chumas Hadeshin? Chumas Meiser Yalfin Allah, Chumas Midyan Yalfin Allah. Is it like Chumas Meiser, that you take off 1/10? Oh, Michumas Midyan Yalfin Allah, that you take off 1/500th. Tashma Dani Rabbi Nemar Kan Vehirim and Nemar Lahalan Vehirim Alahalan Bekumso Afkan Bekumso. This is by the Kara Mincha that you take the amount that you fit in your 3 fingers full, the komates, for the Mincha. So the same amount by Chumas Hadeshin. Now it's interesting, the Gemara has 2 possibilities. Asks, is it like this or is it like this? And the Gemara answers a third possibility. It's not 1/10, not 1/500, it's a komet. So, what's going on over here? And the Gemara has a machlokas. The Gemara says, Amarav, Arba avodah zar chayav alei misah. 4 avodos, the base of Migdash, someone who's a zar, someone who's not a Kohen, is chayav misah if he does them. Zrika v'aktara v'nizach hamayim v'nizach hayayin. Levi Amarav Chumas Hadeshin. Levi argues and says a 5th avodah Chumas Hadeshin, taking off the burnt ashes from last night's korbanos. So the Gemara says, the Gemara brings a pasuk my time with the Rav, and it brings a pasuk, and Rav and Levi argue over this pasuk whether avodah siluk, taking something away, is considered to be an avodah or not, to be chayav misah if you're a zar. So in Svara, the Gemara has midrashim for the pasuk, for the machlokas, what they argue about in the drush of the pasuk. But in Svara, what's the machlokas in Rav and Levi? Third question we'll ask is the Gemara on the end of Chav Daled Amud Beis. The Gemara says towards the bottom, Tanya Kavasi the Rav, Tanya Kavasi the Levi. We have a brisa like Rav and a brisa like Levi. Tanya Kavasi the Rav, avodas shezar chayav alei misah, zrikas dam ben lifnim ben lifnai lifnim, v'hamazeh b'chata saof. It lists basically the avodos that it doesn't include Shumos Hadeshin, so that price is like Rav. Levi, Tanya Kavasi to Levi, avodos shezar chayav alei misah, meir mes Hadeshin. So we see already it says Shumos Hadeshin. V'sheva zol shebefnim v'shem tzor v'mal agam mizbeach v'im davar kosher v'im davar apostle. So you see it includes Shumos Hadeshin. So Bryce like Levi. Now there's a lot of problems with both of these brises, and Tosus and we should already talk about this. First of all, in the brise of Rav, it says Zrikas dam bein lifnim bein lifnai v'lifnim. It says Zrikas Adam, but it only says the Zrikas Adam that you do inside the Heichal and the Kodesh HaKadoshim, but not on the Mizbeach outside Vachutz, Mizbeach Adama. And then it says it says if you burn the olas of on the mizbeach, why only the olas of? Any haktara you do seemingly should be chayav according to Rav. And in Levi's brisa, it doesn't mention anything. The Rishon doesn't mention anything about the other 4 avodas. It says meir mas hadeshin. Well, it says mala davar kosher ben davar apostle. Right? Tosu says mala includes Zrika, Haktara, and Nisach Hamayim, Nisach Hayayim, but it's not so clear that it says that so explicitly. I want to suggest read the Gemara like this. That originally the Gemara had a question. The Gemara says, is Chumas Hadeshin, we learn from Chumas Meiser or Chumas Midyan? What's the question? The question is, Chumas Hadeshin was basically you pick up the ashes from last night's karbanos that were burnt on the Mizbeach, and you remove it. And so, on the one hand, you're picking it up, and on the other hand, you're removing it. It's a 2-step process. So, do we learn from Chumas Meiser, which basically, the whole purpose of taking off the Chumas Meiser is to give it to the one. It's one part is to remove it as the first part, the main part, and then you give it to the Kohanim. But the main part is Zamatir. It just allows the Levi to benefit from the Meiser Rishon that he got. Or do you learn from Trumas Midyan where part of the avodah is actually an avodah matana? It's avodah of giving to the Kohanim. It's not only a matir. It's not really a matir. You don't need to matir the spoils of Midyan. The main part is giving. So it's picking up and giving to the Kohanim. So part of the raising it up is a partial avodah. And the Gemara answer is that we learned from the Kara Mincha, where the Kara Mincha was you took the kometz and then you put it on the mizbeach. So it was a partial avodah. It wasn't a complete avodah. Just like by Trumas Midyan, you picked it up. That was the first step, and then you gave it to the Kohanim was the second step. Supposed to Trumas Meiser, which is a matir. So picking it up, a partial avodah. It's not the main avodah. The main avodah is giving it to the Kohanim, and the main avodah of the kometz is the maktir al mizbeach. But it's a partial avodah. It's not the ikar, but it's a partial avodah. And then where it includes, that's what Trumas Deshin is, the partial avodah. On that, Rav and Levi HaMachlokas, for his dar to be chayav misah, does it have to be the ikar avodah, the main avodah, or does it have to be a partial avodah is okay also? And that's and Rav really when he says chayav misah, he's talking about only zrika haktar and yisach hamayim yisach hayayin, where those are the ikar avodas. That's why on the brisa on Chav Dalam and Beis, he doesn't mention all the cases. He mentions zrikas dam bein lifnim. That's talking about on the karbanos of Yom Kippur, when the zrika, you do the zrika of the blood. That's the ikar kapara. The ikar kapara is the sprinkling of the blood inside. A zrika of regular korban, technically according to Rav, you wouldn't be chayav misah for. And that's why he also says only maktir ba'olah sa'of, because olah sa'of doesn't have a zrikas hadam. You push the blood, you push the bird against the mizbeach to squeeze out the blood. There's no real zrikas hadam. And the only thing you have, the main avodah, is the haktara. That's why only it says haktara by all itself. Nisach hamayim, nisach yayin, those are the main avodas. And Levi says no, partial avodas are also chayav for. That's why in his brisa, he mentions things which are partial avodas. Shev hazos shebifnim. That's talking about the parhel davar shal sibor, where you sprinkle the blood on the paroches, but also you put blood on the four karnos of the mizbeach hazav, and the Masorah also you sprinkle the oil on the paroches, but also you bring a carbon ashram. Those are partial avodas. Amal agab mizbeach the main davar kasher and our apostle is also talking about karbanos which are either the kasher and you're doing partial avodas, like Zrika, or if it's not kasher, it's possible you're doing partial avodas. So as he would hold a zrika of regular carbon would be chayav, because that's a partial avoda. And Rav would say a zrika wouldn't necessarily be chayav because the main avoda is the haktara. So that would come out with the machlokes in Rav and Levi.